All right, so it is live. Welcome, body odor sufferers. I know this is a very different day that we do the interviews, but we're just going to do it this Thursday. And I also want to say this from now on throughout the course of interviews. Every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the interview. It's just on this special case we're doing on Thursday. So with me, I have a woman named Tabitha. Tabitha, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I had to go to my job in less than a couple of hours, but I'm all right.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but where are you located, Tabitha?
In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
And let me ask you, how old are you?
I am 24, just turned 24 actually.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. What do you have, and when is the first experience you have getting reactions from whatever you got?
Well, I've had this since I was 15, like during my transition to 16, if that makes sense, like during that time period. And I actually reacted to myself the first time, but I didn't pay any mind to it because no one else was reacting. But after a while, my older sister would comment on how my breath started to smell like metal. And then I
Mm,
just figured maybe I just need to brush my teeth harder. So I did. But then after a while, like she would complain that it doesn't smell like metal, but it'll smell like rat or vomit. Like it
rat, like a
changed.
rat?
Like ammonia.
Oh,
Yeah. So then I knew that something was going on. So that's when I received my first reactions. And then in school, reactions there too. So
mm. So you had it when you're transitioning into 16. Would you say that that's when you started getting get puberty or you started transitioning into a woman or whatever?
not really, because I don't feel like I've changed physically that much from when I was 16 years old. Like I don't feel like that. That's the only
Mm,
thing that changed from that age, like me experiencing that.
just experiencing, okay, just experience your bad breath.
Yeah.
And so you said you have metal odor, which is very interesting because I had an interview with another person who had bad breath, and she said that his parents told him, or his parents and sister told him, that he had bad breath that smelled like rusted metal. So it's interesting
Hmm.
that you're saying that your sister said it smelled like metal
In the beginning, yeah,
in the
but
beginning.
it probably still does sometimes. But like since it changes based on whatever I eat, but in the beginning, it started off as metal. Like a, it wasn't even that bad in the beginning. It was just like metal. Like I don't know. I don't feel like metal is that bad of a scent compared to all the other smells. So
Well, I do want to ask you, like, you said you had a 16 and you're 24 now. So is that like
yeah,
8 years or
I believe so.
that is 8 years? And so in high school, I would like tell me your experiences in high school. What did you try to do? Did you have friends? Did you try to avoid people within your high school years when you started getting that?
Well, this happened when I was in my junior year, I believe. And I have friends. I was on the softball team. I was just living my life. And then when I started experiencing this, I started to withdraw a bit. No one mentioned to me directly that I smelled, but like whenever I felt like I smelled, like let's say like it smelled like cigarette, like if I get a whiff of cigarette, then I would automatically assume that it's me. And if I hear someone else in a different class, in a different area, complaining that it smelled like cigarette, then that's most likely me. So like no one made direct comments to me, like thank God that I didn't experience bullying because I know a lot of people do when they have issues like this. But like I did experience a lot of indirect comments. So
Comments like what? Like someone needs to brush their teeth or like something like that.
yeah, yeah, like it smells, but no comments from my like immediate circle. Like they never commented on anything, but like if I was taking a class with people I don't know, then I would hear comments like that.
Now, with the bad breath, you said that you could have smelled it early on, but then eventually, I'm assuming you can't smell it anymore.
I can smell it because I have a whole routine with my mouth, and I try to keep my mouth as clean as possible. And since I know that the smell isn't coming from my mouth, whenever my mouth is really clean, I can smell it because like it's not in my mouth. It's I don't know how to explain it, but
Is
like
something in your gut possibly?
probably. But when my mouth is really clean, I can smell it. Or like when I clean my sinuses and I walk out of a room, then I can smell it.
Clean it, and you could walk out of room, so it can fill rooms.
No, I wouldn't say it can. No, I don't think it can fill rooms, but like I can smell it in my sinuses. I think it's coming out of my sinuses too. So like whenever I walk out of a room or something, like it just smacks me in the face. But other people might not smell it. And that's what I'm still trying to understand as well. Like how come I can smell it so strongly, but people around me aren't reacting?
Mm. So
Yeah.
at this point, like you can smell it, but other people
Yes.
don't react to you.
My boyfriend complains. He does complain here and there, but he doesn't know TMAU. He doesn't know what it is, but he does know that I have an issue going on, and he says that he can mostly smell it from my nose. That like
Hmm.
he thinks it's coming from my nose because that's the only I don't know. When he complains about it, it's when I'm breathing through my nose. So I don't know.
We got a question in chat here from Scorpion Tiger, and she asked
Hmm.
you, "Does her breath smell rank now?"
Does it smell right now?
Yeah, smell rank bad.
Well, I just brushed my teeth, so probably not. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't smelled anything yet.
For people, I mean, I never asked this to anybody who actually has just suffering concentrating bad breath or suffering
Hmm.
from bad breath in general. But how many times do you brush your teeth a day?
After every meal, so it depends on how many times I eat in a day. Like, if I eat 3 meals, I'll brush my teeth 3 times. If I'm eating snacks throughout the day, then I'm brushing my teeth after snacks too. And it might not help, but like my mouth does feel a lot more cleaner, and I am removing the bacteria from my tongue, so I'm sure it reduces it in some way.
I got a question from the chat, from Damn Dan, and he asked you, does your nose get itchy?
Not really. No, I wouldn't say so.
Hmm. And I do want to ask you this. What about you? You said brush your tongue. I mean, yeah, I think you said you brush your tongue. Do you have
Yeah.
white tongue or is it pink? Pinkish?
No, no. My tongue is pink.
Well, was it always pink or
No, it wasn't always pink. In the beginning, when I first started experiencing this, my tongue was white. Like,
mm.
and it was white to the point where I can brush my teeth a few times a day and it still wouldn't come off. But I guess like as I changed my diet and the better I got with my oral hygiene, my tongue started to look a lot better.
Let me ask you, like, so within a high school experience, what different things did you try to do to reduce your odor? Um, like what methods or what products did you try?
I tried every product that claimed to reduce bad breath. Like TheraBreath, I tried their products. I tried Smart Mouth. I tried what else did I try? I tried peroxide, but peroxide stopped working for me after a while. But I just started using it again, and I've been experiencing some relief now. But basically, that's it. Since I didn't have too much knowledge about it, I really didn't know where to turn to. So I wasn't doing too much experimenting.
Well, did you like what type of things were you looking or investigating? Things were you searching on the internet when you started to realize, damn, it's not just going away overnight if I just brush my tongue or put Listerine in my mouth.
Yeah. Well, since the smell changes, like since the odor changes, I would just type in Google like odor that changes, like bad breath that changes in smell, whatever, whatever. And that's when I came across TMAU because this is like the only outlet that experienced the same thing I'm experiencing in terms of like the various odors. But yeah, that's basically where I turned to. And there wasn't too much information for me back then in terms of what products to use. Like everyone else was just as lost as I was. So
Yeah, well, like what when like do you know what year you started trying to really research this thing?
To be honest, I kind of forgot about it after a while, and I just started going to the gym and changing up my diet. I was going to the gym really hard, like really
Mm.
hard, and I changed up my diet to the point where I eliminated all sugar. And at that time, I did
What time
experience.
period is this?
This was like when I was 18, 19, like during those years. I
Hmm.
stopped researching it. I stopped spending my days really like trying to find a cure over the internet because I realized it was just making me more depressed. So I I started to be more physically active and change my diet, and it got better for me during that time. But now I feel like it's coming back to haunt me. I don't know.
Oh, you think it's getting more intense?
I think so because of my diet, and I don't go to the gym as much anymore. I used to go to the gym every single day. Now I probably do like once a week.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a question from Claire Underwood, and she asks if you do oil pulling because she finds it helpful.
I did watch some of your videos and a few people talked about oil pulling. I haven't tried it yet because I've been spending so much money on other products that haven't been working really. But I guess I'll try that next whenever I go to the pharmacy or something.
And I did, since you were talking about exercise, and you were saying exercise and diet when you were 18 and 19, and that sort of reduced it. Do you feel
Yeah,
exercising plays a role, or do you feel like
I
sweating
do.
plays a role?
Yeah, I do. I think it plays a big role. And like even when I'm running, like even when I used to run, like I can taste my mouth like there will be more saliva production in my mouth, and like I just felt like it was just amping up my what do you call it? My digestion and
Mm.
just making everything smooth. Well, it was making everything faster for me. Like it was speeding up my metabolism. So
Okay, so you felt like it was improving your digestion with exercising and stuff.
yeah,
Mm.
in terms of metabolism and like getting everything out of my body sooner than later. Like I don't know.
Let me ask you this: have you been constipated? Have you noticed, like within your high school years, you've been constipated? You have constipation or anything like that, or any other digestive issues?
To be honest, probably back then because I was eating junk just like all the other high schoolers. But now, no. Like I'm extremely regular. So I don't know. I don't know what's the problem.
I got a question from the chat from Dan, and he asked you if you can smell your breath in a car when it's just you in the car.
No, not in the car, but I've been on a bus a few times, and I I have a few times on a bus, but not in a car.
Hmm.
I guess because of the airflow in the bus, like I don't know, the direction it's hitting, I guess.
Hmm. Now, you talked about your experiences in high school.
Hmm.
Um, After high school, what was your next step? Did you just get a job? Did you pursue college? What
Well,
was the next step in your direction at the age of 18 or 19?
well, to be honest, I feel like this whole thing made me not, I don't know, like it didn't bring me down where I thought it would. Like when I was in high school before this happened to me, I literally was cutting school all the time, going to the beach and just hanging
Mm.
out with my friends. So like
There's a beach in Philadelphia, really?
no, I actually went to school in New York. I used to live in Brooklyn and then I moved over
Oh,
here. Um
oh. So
so
you're a Brooklyn native.
yes. Yeah, I'm Brooklyn native.
Oh, that's interesting. So what made you want to go to Philadelphia?
Yeah, so I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
So before this happened, like I wasn't really into school too much and my grades weren't that good. But like when this happened, I got more time to myself and I got to like spend more time with me, and this broke me down like really hard. Well, it broke me down bad because like I never experienced something like this before, but like when I started to like feel better about everything, then I knew that like okay, I need to start making a living for myself because I just can't let this take over my life. So after high school, I moved to Philly with my mom, and I worked for a year. I worked at a supermarket for a year, and then I realized that I'm ready to go back to school. So I started going to college again, and then I got a better job. Thank God, and I'm grateful for that. And now I'm in my senior year of college. I'm about to finish, and I'm working. So yeah, I feel like it's made me better in a way, but it still takes away from my social life. I don't really have much of a social life. So I don't know.
Well, I want to ask you a couple of questions about your experiences with college, but there are some things in the chat. Ben the Black Butterfly asks if you ever tested for H. pylori or hiatal
I
hernia.
did. I did. I tested for H. pylori in the beginning. Like I went to a gastroenterologist, well, whatever you call them, in the beginning as well. Like I was going to every doctor I could to see what's going on, and they didn't have any answers for me. But I did go to a GI doctor, and he tested me for H. pylori, and that came up negative. So then he referred me to an ENT. They couldn't find anything, and then he tried to prescribed me antibiotics, and he didn't even know what was going on with me. So I just never took them because I didn't feel like it was worth it, especially if he didn't have an answer for me. And then
Mm,
recently I went to an ENT again just to get a different opinion, and she couldn't find anything wrong. And I have an appointment with a GI in a few months, but I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket at this point. Like I'm just going to
right.
go just to go, but I'm not expecting any good news.
I do have another question from Damn Dan. And he asked you, what part of Philly are you from?
Well, I'm not from Philly. I'm from Brooklyn. So, I live in Central, North Central.
North Central.
Yeah.
Okay. But I did want to go back to your college experience and how you went to a job. Like, like my thing is with people who have bad breath, like I would assume like if you just don't speak as much, you're not gonna have as much bad experiences, you know?
Maybe, yeah, maybe not as much bad experiences, but it's coming from your nose. Well, it comes from my nose too. Since it's not coming from my mouth, it's coming from like I'm sure it's coming from my throat or somewhere else down there, but it comes from the nose too. So you can close your mouth. It might reduce the odor, but I mean, it's still coming out, honestly.
Well, I know for me, like having this weird body odor, it's
Hmm.
really hard to have a job to keep a job or even to continue doing school and stuff like that because people don't want to be around you. Have you experienced similar experiences, or is it not as bad in your perspective?
Well, that's a good question. Well, at the job I'm at now, I actually got promoted to a different position. But when I was at my previous position, I didn't really get any bad reactions or anything from my coworkers because they were super nice. Like, and even if they did smell anything, they wouldn't bother me about it or bring it to my attention because they know the person I am, and it probably didn't phase them. But where I'm at now, the girls are extremely different, and it's just their personality to gossip about people. So it's a lot different now. Like I'm sure I get talked about, and I have approached them about it too, but it's a lot different. So I have experienced some type of drama in terms of that at work.
Well, what about school, college? Do you do like, because some people do college online. Are you actually going to a campus and taking classes with other people?
No, I'm taking classes with other people, and I have like a few online classes.
But everything is smooth sailing. Is not as bad, not as stressful.
Not really, because I don't really talk to people as much. Like, I'll talk to like a few people, but I won't make it my priority to socialize with everyone. And I don't feel comfortable doing that. So, like,
Well, I do have a question from chat. I know Dan, yeah, Damn Dan is actually from Philly too, and he's asking, would you like to meet up with him?
I don't know. You can probably put my email address down. below, and
Okay.
I'll we can probably email each other. I don't know. I'm not too comfortable with meeting up with people at this
Hmm.
point. Maybe in the future that'll change, but um, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Well, what was gonna ask you? I was gonna ask you, yeah, when you were saying when you were at your previous job, it wasn't as bad. People still treated you nice. Were you still exercising and following a diet?
Um, at my previous job,
Yeah, when you said you said you recently got promoted to a new job,
no, a new position in the same.
new
Yeah.
position, and then there was like the previous position, I guess. I'm sorry. Um, People treated you better. Was that also, were you still doing like exercising and eating, I guess,
Yeah.
properly?
Yeah. Like on occasion, I would exercise, but not as hard as I did when I was like 18 or 19.
Mm. And
And that's
so,
another thing. Like, this whole thing is so like unpredictable. Like,
right.
I'm trying to backtrack and think, like, okay, where did I change? And like, the only thing that I can come to a conclusion with is my diet. But like, even that, like, I'm not even sure about. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you actually brought up a point that somebody actually asked me in the chat. They wanted to know what your diet consisted of when it wasn't as bad. I guess you feel like what do you feel like when you were 18, 19, that's when you were at your best, or at least like it was reduced to a significant degree that you could live normally?
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure if that's the case or if I'm just around a different crowd and they're making it a big deal for me. I'm not sure if it's because I was in a different environment at the time and I felt more comfortable with the people that I'm with. And now that people are like talking about it, I'm being more conscious about it. So it's hard to answer that question honestly.
Well, do you feel that possibly stress actually increases the odor in your breath or makes it worse?
Yes, it does. I'm sure it does. Especially like before my period, not to get all, technical. It does get worse, I would say.
Oh, do you also feel like when you have your period, like it gets worse as well?
Yeah, like right before.
Right before your period, it gets really worse.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Hmm. Because I've heard that before. I've heard that, especially with people who have TMAU, that when they have their period, that's when it's at its worst. But you say like right before you have yours, it gets bad.
Yeah, it does.
Hmm. That's interesting. Oh yeah, what was the diet that you were saying that you felt that you were doing at the moment where you felt like it reduced your breath odor?
Well, to be honest, I was barely eating anything because I was so into health and fitness. Like, I would have like chicken breast and maybe some salad and some white rice. Like, I wasn't eating anything good, barely any sugar. Like, I'll have like an apple, half an apple every other day, but it wasn't like when I look back on it now, it wasn't a healthy diet for me. Like,
Mm-mm.
it was, I don't know, like I was doing it because I wanted to lose weight. I wasn't a big girl, but like it was just in my mind like I just want to challenge myself and lose weight, and that's the reason why I was eating that way.
Oh,
And
okay.
it did help with the odor, but I don't think it was a healthy diet. I was eating probably like 1,200 calories a day, which is not good.
Yeah.
So yeah. But now, like, I'm a pescatarian. I only eat fish and everything else, but I don't eat no meat because meat made
A
it so
Presbyterian? Is that
bad.
like a religion? What is that?
Pescatarian. So it's like when you only eat seafood and other
Oh,
foods. Yeah. But
I didn't know
meat
that's
makes it
a thing.
so bad for me. Like, chicken breast really didn't at the time because it was so bland. But, like, when I would have, like, food from my mom, like, any type of meat from my mom or from any other restaurant, like, it would be bad. So I just eliminated it from my diet completely. And it's been, like, 3 years. Yeah.
I do got a couple of questions from the chat. And Damn Dan wants to ask you if you ever drank a lot before.
No, no. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. Like it just came so unexpectedly.
Hmm. And I got a question from Liz Sunshine, and she asked you, does it get worse if you don't get enough sleep?
Yeah, it does, and I notice it too.
Hmm.
But to be honest, I feel like anything gets worse if you don't have enough sleep. Like if you have a wound or something, or if you have a headache, or if you're going through anything with your body, if you don't get enough sleep, then that's gonna make it worse. So
Hmm.
I don't
I
know.
mean, oh well, I guess you can detect it, but I never had I made a connection that lack of sleep will make your body odor worse. But I know that's very interesting that people are saying that. And
I guess because like you're not like when you're sleeping, your body is like your body's still working and you're still metabolizing everything. So like I guess when you're not sleeping as much, you're not giving your body enough time to do what it has to do.
recover.
That's my um, theory.
Yeah, and I also find it interesting with you. You said that you eat just like a lot of seafood, and seafood is pretty bad for people who actually have TMAU. It should
I
technically.
know I've heard that, but compared to meat, I don't feel like I get um, I get that bad of an order from seafood. Like I'll have salmon and shrimp and tuna, and it probably is, but it's not to the point where I'm gonna stop eating it because I need protein. I'm not gonna eliminate it from my diet. And beans don't work well with me, and that makes it worse too. So I'm not gonna just turn to beans.
Well,
So
I think we stuck to a good section here. Like, what do you think are like the common things that make you smell bad? I know somebody in the chat is asking, do you drink? Have you drank a lot of milk in the past? Does dairy make you smell worse? You just said beans. What type of meats do you feel like? If do you feel yeah? What type of meats do you feel like makes you smell worse, or what type of meats do you think is just fine to eat for you?
okay, well I don't eat meat now, but like in the past when I did eat meat, meats that made it worse was any meat that I bought from the store and any meat that my mom made because she used to go in like she put everything in there. So I mean, the meat that did work for me when I was dieting was just chicken breast and salt and pepper. Like that's basically it. But in terms of everything else, what was the question again? Like,
Yeah, like what foods have you noticed that made you smell
oh,
worse?
okay. Sugar is number one. Like, sugar gives me immediate effects. Like, I can't have sugar, and
Hmm.
I just can't have sugar. Even though I still eat it from time to time, but sugar is number one. Carbs too, any type of carb, anything with wheat or yeast in it. Like I can't have soy sauce because no, I just can't have soy sauce. That makes me smell. Um, Peanut butter makes me smell too because I feel like the it stays on my tongue and it just ferments on my tongue. I don't
Mm,
know. Beans, I can't do beans. I mean, I still eat these foods in moderation because I'm not going to deprive myself from it. But
right.
these are the foods that do contribute to it. So,
And you also said like you know, throughout high school and college, like you tried so many products and none of those things worked. Can you at least list them out so anybody in the future who might have something similar to yours can just avoid these products in general?
okay. Well, there's been so many over the years, honestly. But
Just the
if,
ones that you could think of on top of your head.
okay, so, TheraBreath, I wouldn't advise anyone going through this to waste their money on TheraBreath. Smart Mouth worked for me for a day and it just stopped working. So that I wouldn't recommend that either. What else did I try? I tried peroxide. I would do peroxide in moderation because I feel like it loses its effect the more you use it.
Mm,
So I would do that in moderation. Um, what else? What else? I tried grape. This is I was so desperate. I put grape seed extract
yeah.
in a neti pot, and I tried to like put it in my nose, thinking that it was gonna do anything
Yo,
for
I
me.
Yo, I did the same thing.
Really?
That shit burned. That
And it
shit,
does nothing.
it burned so badly. I have the experience. I had a serious sinus headache or something when I did it.
Really?
So, yeah, did you?
I did it, yeah, and I did get like a burning sensation. I wouldn't advise anyone to do that. No, people don't know what they're talking about when they just like put these random cures online. I don't know. That was just a fail.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do want to go to the chat here, and Liz Sunshine asked you is if your smell is intermittent or all the time.
I believe it's all the time, but it varies in severity and um, odor. Like it changes odor. It's not one constant smell. Like it changes based off my diet. So like some smells are worse than others, but I feel like it bothers me the most. Like I can be in a room with people and I won't experience any reactions, but that doesn't mean that I don't smell. Like I don't know. Like if I can smell myself, I know that I'm not tripping. And if people are telling me like in private, like people close to me are telling me in private that they might smell something, then I know that I'm not tripping. But it bothers me the most.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. So, there's you're saying that you can smell something, you can smell it, but at the same time, people don't react as much.
No,
So maybe it's not as severe,
it
to the point
is.
that people are just going to like reach back and like, oh, I don't want to, or just put their nose, hand on their nose or something like that. How would you? I don't know if I should. How would you rate your odor from 1 out of 10 in terms of intensity? Because maybe it's just not as intense. Maybe it's bad, but it doesn't like reach out and really hit people like that.
To be honest, well, before I answer that question, like I feel like people don't react as much as um you would well anyone would expect because I've been dealing with this for so long, so I know how to I know how I know how to talk, I know how to manage it in the moment. Like with gum, I know I need to have something in my mouth. But to answer your question, like to rate it, you asked me to rate it, right?
Yeah, in terms of intensity, from one
Okay.
at 10, 10 being, I don't know, what would 10 be? 10,
Yeah.
10 being knocking somebody out. Like people would, no, 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 that's stupid. Um, 10 being like people are just going to cover their nose. Like it's so bad that people have to cover their nose when when you're in the room or you're talking, you're opening your mouth. And one being they don't do anything. They don't people are not reacting at all.
Okay, well, when I eat sugar, I'll give it like a solid 9. But when I'm controlling my diet, it's probably like a I you see I can't even I don't even know because like I'm not on the receiving end.
Right.
But I would probably rate it like a 4 or a 5. I don't know though. I don't know.
But you said you had a boyfriend, so
Yeah.
have you like can your boyfriend tell you honestly how bad or severe it is?
You
Um,
know what's crazy to me is that like I can smell the variations in odor. Like I can smell like when it smells like dirty socks. I can smell when it smells like cheese. I can smell like when it changes in scent. But like he tells me that like whenever he does smell it, he tells me that it just smells like metal. Like the odor from my nose smells like metal. So how
mhm.
can it be that he's telling me it smells like this, but I'm smelling all of these different odors?
Well, I have a theory, and I think that some people just have stronger senses than others. Like they have stronger
Hmm.
senses, so they can pick up all other different chemicals that give off a smell, where other people have noses that, if you can, I don't know, breathe in their face, they're not gonna pick it up because their noses can't detect those odor chemicals as much. And maybe you just have a stronger sense of smell, so you can pick
Maybe.
up a larger range of smells compared to your boyfriend who only can pick up like that metal smell. At least
But
that's my theory in my head.
I mean, if when you're with somebody for long enough time, like I feel like you should be able to pick up different scents. Either you get used to it or you pick up the different scents. So I don't know. I mean, I guess you're right, but it's just difficult to just put
That's
your
just my
finger on
opinion.
it.
I don't know. I'm not an expert. I just my
Yeah.
um but yeah, to speak on your boyfriend a little bit, like you told me that you like because I wanted to contact you by phone because I usually contact people on the phone, just talk to them for 30 minutes or whatever, just see hear about their lives or whatever. But you didn't want to do that because you felt like your boyfriend would be mad that He's talking to another person about the issue, and he just wants you to confide with him. So
Yeah, but I feel like he doesn't understand it like people like us who's going through similar situations because he's not in the situation. Like, so I can confide in him in so much, but like it's it's not like he can't I don't know, like I don't feel like he can understand me in the way that I want him to him. It doesn't really bother him. Like he's just like, okay, whatever, like we can well, just get over it or something. And like he doesn't make it a big deal, but it's still a big deal to me because I'm the one who's going through it. So
right,
yeah, and we have a strong relationship when it comes to like trust and confiding in each other. So like I knew that like if we did talk on the phone, and I don't know, I just
you're like,
at
who's
the
this man
time,
that you're talking to?
yeah, but he's not insecure like that. Like that's not the point. I feel like it's more about me confiding in him about this. I don't
Mm,
know.
well, hopefully he doesn't find this video. But I do have a couple of questions in the chat. So Chantel Jenkins says, I just joined in. Does she have hiatal hernia or H. pylori? I think you answered the H. pylori question, but did you answer the hiatal hernia?
I was never diagnosed with a hernia. Hernia. But when I was in elementary school, I did complain of having like uncomfortable feelings on my side, and I went to the doctor for it, and they never saw anything, so I just kind of ignored it. And I feel like I feel healthy. Like I don't. The only issue is the odor. Like everything else, I'm blessed to say that I don't have any other health issues. Like it's just this. So I don't know. Not to
Well,
my knowledge, at least.
mm, well, Chantel Jenkins has like two other or three other questions. She asks, has she ever been exposed to mold? Does she have candida? And she also asks, do people cough and sneeze around her?
Um, that's a tricky question. If I ever got exposed to mold,
Yeah,
I feel like we all are exposed to mold at some
right.
point in our life. So, I mean, I have in the past, I'm sure I have, but as far as inhaling it or like consuming it, no, I don't think so. But I
Well,
do get moldy smells. Like that's one of my odors. I do smell that odor, so I don't know.
well, she also asks, do you have candida or do you think you have candida?
I used to think I do, but mm, I don't think so. One of the products that I use, like to help, not to get um, technical again, but like one of the problems that not the problems, products that I use to help like in that area is probiotics, like a special kind of probiotics for women.
What
And I don't
area?
really,
Oh, vaginal area, I guess.
yeah, I don't really experience issues down there when I take probiotics on a regular basis. Like, so I don't think it's candida because candida, wouldn't it be linked to your like your genital areas? Like, I don't know. And it doesn't smell like yeast all the time. Like I would suspect that if you had candida, your mouth would smell like yeast, your body would smell like yeast. So
Hmm.
I don't know.
Well, also asked you, yeah, do people cough and sneeze around you?
Um, no, not anything out of the ordinary. I wouldn't say so.
Hmm. I did want to ask you this early on, when you were talking about exercising. Do you feel like you smell worse when you sweat? And I'm not saying like, like a regular odor, like a musty odor, but like, do you feel like the odor that's from your mouth is like excreting from your sweat as well? Like, do you feel that
No,
happens? No?
no, I don't. That's hard to tell because like the only odor I can detect is from my mouth. Like I can't detect anything from anywhere else on my body, and no one ever complained of anything else. So it's hard for me to say that like when I exercise, I can smell it more on my body. Um, maybe in my breath, maybe I don't know, but as far as my body, I don't think so. Like if I do smell, it's probably like the regular sweaty smell. Like I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I also want to ask you this, since you mentioned about your sister, how many siblings do you have?
two sisters and one brother, one little brother. And they
Eh,
don't have this issue. So it's just me.
but your sister has acknowledged, one of your sisters has acknowledged that you smell bad.
Yeah.
Do any of the other siblings ever commented about your breath or whatever?
No, so at the time I was just living with my older sister and my little brother. My sister at the time lived with her father, so I didn't experience any comments from her. But I do appreciate my sister's honesty, although it might have hurt my feelings in the past, but I do appreciate her honesty. My little brother, he doesn't react to me at all. Like even now, at the time he was a baby, but now he's like 8 years old and he doesn't react. So
Hmm. And I did want to ask, oh, Chantel from the chat, Chantel Jenkins asked you, what's the name of the probiotic that you take?
it's called Ultimate Flora Feminine Female Health Feminine Health, but the brand is Ultimate Flora and it's feminine um something.
Ultimate Flora Feminine
Do you see it?
Health. I'm trying to look it up on Google. Let me talk to you while looking this up.
And to be honest, that's the only probiotic that I did notice it take an effect on my body. I tried so many different probiotics, but that's the only one that I can actually like speak on.
So it's
So
called Ultimate Flora Women's Vaginal Probiotic 50
yeah,
billion.
that one. That one is like my holy grail.
Oh, so it's effective. It works.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put that in chat here. Um, Boom. Yeah, so I did want to continue to ask about like family members,
Hmm.
because the last interview I had, she was talking about how she had a cousin that had a similar problem with her. So
Hmm.
I was curious if maybe when you go to maybe family gatherings, I don't know, like Christmas, Thanksgiving, have you ever talked to cousins or any other relatives that might have something similar or have breath issues as well?
To be honest, no. Like everyone else is so normal. Like I don't know. My uncle, I have an uncle that smells, but that's because he don't shower, and we all know that he doesn't shower. But
Wait, your uncle doesn't shower? What?
no, because he's a mechanic, so like he's one of those guys that he really doesn't care. Like he just makes his money, go home, grabs a beer, and just chills. Like he's not one of those. Let's just say he doesn't shower as much as he should, but everyone else is so like it's clean to me. Like I've never smelled anything on anyone else, so I don't know.
Well, I do got a question. I think I have a couple of questions from chat. One from Demetrius Davis, and he asked, "Can you smell it in your hair?"
Yes, I can. I have to wash my hair every 2 days because then I can smell like a rancid odor in my hair. Like I get odors in my hair all the time, and I have to wash it on a regular basis because it gets oily. I have a really oily scalp, so it does smell bad. So yeah,
So, but it's a different odor compared to your breath.
different odor. Yeah, it doesn't change. It just smells bad.
Hmm.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah, my scalp does smell if I don't wash it.
Another question is from Chantel Jenkins, and she asks, "Have you ever gotten an endoscopy?"
Never. Because when I went to the GI, this is one thing about doctors that I do not appreciate. They think that just because you're not feeling anything, that you're not going through anything. Like when I went to him, he just um, gave me a slip to get tested for H. pylori and just like randomly put his fingers around my belly. Like that's all he did. He didn't do an endoscopy or anything. So,
Hmm.
but maybe that's something I should try.
Hmm. I do want to ask you. I always like to ask people about their doctors, and like when you go to these doctors, do you tell them specifically about your odor issue? Like you can because you're complaining about having an odor, or do you talk about something else and then and then also mention the odor issue, because I know that a lot of people feel that when you just go directly and talk to them about having body odor or having bad breath, they'll just deny it.
Yeah.
So what they'll say is they'll try to make up another topic and then say like the side effect is possibly body odor, or they mention it on a side comment. Like, I'm asking a lot of stuff. Well, let me just first ask you this. So, have doctors reacted to you?
No, you know what? Recently, I went to the doctor because I just recently started getting back into this and trying to find treatment and trying to find some type of remedy that works for me, because I kind of forgot about it for a while because it wasn't bringing me in a good place. Like, I was spending too much time looking for things to help me. But like recently I started getting back into it, and I had changed my doctor last year. So my new doctor, when I went to him about it, I told him exactly what's going on, that like my nose smells like metal. My mom is telling me, my boyfriend's telling me, so I know it's not in my head and I don't know what's going on. So he smelled my breath. He said he didn't smell anything. He got the secretary in there. She smelled it. She said she didn't smell anything. And so he prescribed me Rantidine. It's like an anti-acid. And he told me to take it for 2 weeks. I did, no effect. When I went back to him, he kind of just threw up his hands and was like, well, I don't know what it is. And he just wrote me off to see an ENT. He didn't even like try any further. So I didn't even waste my time. Like, I mean, it wasn't a priority for him. So
Wait, what type of doctor was it?
he was my primary care
Oh, the
physician.
primary care doctor.
Yeah.
Have you went to a dentist about it, and was it
Yeah.
the same results?
My dentist, he loves me because my teeth are so healthy and clean. And I told him about this too. And he said it's not coming from my mouth, that it must be like a respiratory issue.
Hmm. I've heard theories about how some people have this odor, and some people I know some there's some theories about like tonsil stones or something
Oh,
like that.
yeah. I used to have tonsil stones really, really bad.
Oh, really?
And yeah, not back then, but like recently I had them bad, and like I would pick them out on a regular basis. But
How long is recent? Like, at what age did you
like
discover you had tonsil stones?
within the last past 2 years. But like I
Mm.
didn't have them back then. Which is weird. But now I did. Well, now I do. I don't have them anymore. Sorry, but like 2 years ago, I was going through this. A few months ago, I finally found something that helped me, and that was zinc. I take
Oh,
zinc all the time on a regular basis, and since I've been taking zinc, not one tonsil stone. I don't have any anymore, so that helps a lot.
oh, that's interesting. So you're saying that zinc just I guess, prevents tonsil stones from forming, or are you
Yeah,
also saying it prevents it from forming and also reduces your bad breath? I mean.
it reduces my bad breath too. Like I can even taste the difference in the morning, but it doesn't eliminate it. It just reduces it. So
Wow, that's interesting. What type of zinc do you know? The zinc, if someone who has something similar to you, can you recommend this type of supplement?
well, I used to just take the one that they it's no particular brand. I just
There's no
choose
particular
whichever
brand,
one.
any type of zinc.
Yeah, and I take two at night, and when I wake up in the morning, I can taste the difference in my mouth. It's the 50 milligram zinc.
50 milligram zinc tablets.
Yeah, and I
Hmm,
take two.
that's interesting. Zinc helping you, because I
Yeah.
did hear about zinc helping body odor, and I tried that early in my 20s, and I didn't do shit. So that's interesting. It's very interesting hearing people who say certain products help them but when I tried the product, it didn't help me. So I don't know. But maybe I never had like just odor just concentrated in my breath. It was just all
Hmm.
over. So
But
maybe
you know
there's something
what?
to it.
Yeah, but you know what? I tried zinc in the past. Like when I was, I didn't mention this, but I did try zinc in the past, thinking that it was gonna help, and I didn't really see an effect in the past because like, it was to the like, during that time, it was to the point where like, it was at its peak, and like everything I was doing wasn't working because my diet wasn't good. So like, zinc wasn't effective. But now that like I know what's going on and I know my body a bit more, the zinc works because I'm doing other things in addition to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, what are the other things?
Well, my diet, I avoid my trigger foods.
Hmm.
I brush my teeth after every meal. What else do I do? Oh, I forgot to mention that like the zinc, I used to have like this green coat on my tongue. It wasn't like a deep green. It was like a light green coat on my tongue and on my tonsils.
That's
And
interesting.
I'm sure it was bacteria though. Like I'm like 100% sure it's bacteria. But when I started taking the zinc, it completely went away. So that coat.
Yeah, you tell me that like you used to have like white coated tongue, and
Oh, in
then
the
now you have a
past, yeah.
pink tongue. Is that
Hmm.
also was the transformation from white to pink also attributed to like the zinc that you were taking?
No, this was before I started taking zinc. The white to pink was mostly due to my diet and brushing my
Mm,
teeth like on a regular basis, rigorously.
mm. Okay, now now you're in a promoted job,
Hmm.
but a lot of I guess some of your coworkers don't do they like you or they just talk behind your back? Like
You
what?
know what? I didn't like I didn't like the type of people they were before I even got into the department because like they would come to me and talk about other people, like nasty
Mm,
stuff about other people. But I felt like I needed to grow in my career and I wasn't just gonna limit myself and I wasn't going to a different area for them. I was going there for me. So I didn't really think it was gonna be that bad. I didn't think it was gonna be this bad. But um, they don't disrespect me because I don't allow it. And if I feel a type of way, then I'm approaching them. But I don't talk to them at all because I don't like how they talk about other people, and I know that they're talking about me. Like I don't know. It's just weird. I just choose not to socialize with them because they're not healthy for my emotional well being, I guess.
let me ask you this: do you work as in a grocery store or something?
No, I work in the office. So
Oh, you work in an office and everything.
yeah, I
Okay, you
used to
don't.
work at a grocery store.
Mm,
Hmm.
was this before 16
Like when I
or
was
before bad
18.
breath?
What, when I worked in a supermarket?
Yeah.
No, it was when I was 18, like after the breath issue.
So I did want to ask you this, like, I think I already asked you this, but I'm gonna ask you. Maybe I forgot
Hmm.
what your answer was. But has it ever been hard for you on your job with this bad breath thing?
To be honest, like when it comes to like communicating effectively, I'm always self-conscious about this issue, that like I don't feel like I'm getting all my ideas across and I'm talking as effectively as I should be. So it does hinder me in that respect. But in terms of my performance and doing what I got to do and working and um, completing my tasks, I don't allow it to affect me in that way. But when it comes to communicating, it does.
Hmm. I don't think it's no question, but I guess it's a comment that I just want to read from Chantel Jenkins. And she's basically saying if she never got an endoscopy, then there's no way of knowing whether or not if she has an hiatal hernia. A lot of times, bad breath has to do with stomach or tonsils or candida.
But like, don't you think that if you're experiencing like a hernia or something in that respect, like, don't you think you'll have other symptoms with it? Because my only symptom is the odor. Like, I would think that if my digestive system is out of whack, then like I would experience like stomach pains or acid reflux, but I
Right.
don't experience that. So I don't know. Like, I just feel like I'm wasting my money on everything. Like, anything that
Yeah.
I feel like it might be, I'm wasting money on it, and it turns out that that's not it. But maybe I will try that in the future.
Yeah, and I don't even know what a hiatal hernia is. I think that's painful. I think that you get some type of pain from somewhere, some part of your body. So I don't know. But
Yeah, I
um
don't know even.
what was I gonna ask you? Um so yeah, you just said that with the zinc plus the dieting and there was something else. Oh yeah, you brush your teeth after every meal.
Hmm.
Um So I wanted to ask you the top 5 things that you feel actually reduces your odor.
Well, the zinc, yes. Dieting, yes. The even though this is not related, the probiotics, the feminine care, that one helps me a lot. Like when I eat soy sauce, um, I can smell in other areas, but with that, like the probiotics, it completely eliminates everything. What else?
Have you ever
Proact.
tried? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You can.
No, I mean, because I was gonna, since you were talking about like vaginal probiotics, like, have you ever tried just like oral probiotics, and does it
No,
have any?
that is oral. It's a pill
Oh,
that
it's
you
feminine.
swallow.
Oh, because
Yeah.
oh, I thought you put like vaginal probiotics in your vagina. That's crazy. Okay,
No, you swallow it. It's a
damn, how was it
pill.
able to go all the way down there? Okay, cool. Never mind. Um,
Yeah, I don't know either. I guess it's the strands. I don't know.
okay. Oh, okay. So it's oral. I didn't know that. Cool.
What
But
else do I take? I take I just recently started mixing oregano oil with my mouthwash, and it might help. I don't know. It's too soon to tell, but I'm using that too. And I take activated charcoal with my meals. I
mm,
often forget to do it, so I don't know if it's making a difference because I'm not consistent with it. It's hard to be consistent when you're taking so many different pills. It's like
yeah, yeah,
I don't know. It's hard.
yeah. The thing is, I think there's a lot of things to say about activated charcoal because with me, it's like I've been taking activated charcoal too, and the thing I can't detect my odor. I can only base it off reactions and try to
You
overhear.
never was you never detected your odor before.
Rare in rare occasions, I can take whiffs and I might smell a fart smell, but
Mm-hmm.
rare occasions. But going back to the activated charcoal, I've been taking it for a couple of weeks, and I feel like it works because I
Oh,
see
that's
less
good.
reaction.
That's
Um,
good.
but I don't know how effective it is, you know. So it's funny, and the only reason why I bought it is because I'm having these conversations with other people, and
Mm-hmm.
they would recommend activated charcoal more so than chlorophyll. So let me ask you this: have you ever considered taking chlorophyll?
I have, and that never worked for me. But I forgot to mention with the activated charcoal, like it does decrease the smell of my bowels, so it might have an effect on my breath. I don't know.
Hmm.
I I don't know, but like it might be effective in some way. I just don't know yet. I have to be more consistent because right now I'm not. And
Hmm.
the chlorophyll, I tried taking the drops that you mix in water, and I didn't really see a difference, so I kind of stopped taking that.
All right, hold up, tourniquet. All right, so this is the activated charcoal I'm taking. Like I'm taking like the bulk form. Are you taking like a
Oh,
tablet thing?
is that like powder?
Yeah, it's like the powder. It's a powder in a pouch. So I guess you're
Mm,
taking like a tablet form of
yeah,
activated charcoal.
I'm taking tablets. I take two before the meal and two after the meal, as directed.
Because I know with like activated charcoal, it's supposed to trap like I guess like chemicals or compounds and stuff like that. So if you take it with like I don't know like a vitamins or something like that, it's not you're not going to absorb all the vitamins. It's going to be trapped within that activated charcoal. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
But how do we know it's not doing the same thing to the food that we eat afterwards?
it is.
Like,
It probably is. Like
you
yeah,
see,
that's what. Oh
kind of sucks.
yeah, that's why you're not supposed to take it with like any type of supplements or anything like that.
Mm. Yeah, I've read that too. But I also read that you shouldn't take it longer than 2 weeks.
A word? Why?
I don't know, but that's what it says on my bottle. Um,
Shit, what? I'm reading the instructions right now. Shit. Oh, that's weird. Hopefully, I don't die from this.
no,
Um,
I doubt it, but I don't know.
hmm. But okay, so you said the things that helped you were diet,
Mm-hmm.
was avoiding triggering foods, brushing your teeth after every meal,
Yeah.
the probiotics, and probiotics. and activated. You feel like the activated charcoal helps to a degree.
To a degree. And the zinc, that's like
Oh
my
yeah, and
number
zinc,
one.
yeah.
That's my number one. If I can like credit any supplement, it would be zinc. This one helped me the most.
Hmm. Let me see if there's any other questions I have. Yeah. So, I mean, we talked a little bit about this off camera, and it's basically about TMAU. And first off, do you think you have TMAU?
The only reason why I think I do is because like the odor changes, and I know it TMAO like the odor varies, but other than that, I have no idea. And another reason why I think it's TMAO because this is the only symptom that I have, and with TMAO you usually just experience the odor. So
Hmm. Well, here's a question from Caramel Gazelle, and she asks, when you brush your teeth, do you use a water pick?
um, I used to use a water pick, but it started making my tonsils bleed, and I probably shouldn't have put it so far back. But I floss regularly, so I don't think there's a need for a water pick for me right now. But I have tried it in the past.
Mm. Do you feel like constipation worsens if you do have constipation, does it like worsen your odor?
Yeah, I feel like the longer it's in, the more you're gonna smell. So the sooner the better, honestly.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
going back to like the T-Mal question, so you believe you have some sort of T-Mal, but let me ask you this, why, if are you going to get tested in the future? And if you're not, why not?
I mean, if it, hmm, I'm not gonna get tested and pay $700 for it. If it's less expensive, then maybe. And if my provider pays for it, like they pay for everything else, then yeah, I would do it. But um, since since there's no cure, I'm not gonna waste my money on it right now.
Hmm. Okay. Because it's like with like we were just discussing it right now, like with the seafood and stuff that you eat, like you should be really stinking up the place, eating salmon and stuff like that. So it has to be something. If it's not trimethylene it has to be something else because that should be like the telltale sign that you do definitely have it. Like, because that's the number one thing you're supposed to stay away from. But
I
you,
know, but I feel like the number one thing that I'm supposed to stay away from is sugar because that's what makes it like extremely worse. So I don't know. It's hard to
Hmm.
tell. I mean, I still do get odors with fish, but it's not like it's not as bad as it is with sugar.
Right.
Yeah.
But at this moment, you do feel that even though you're getting some relief from the different the diets that you're doing right now, or the different products you're using, you still feel like the odor is worse
Um. Well, not
compared
well.
to when you were 16.
Do I feel like it's worse now than when I was 16?
Yeah.
No, no. When I was 16, it could fill up a room. But now
Mm.
it was that's the thing. Like I heard that it gets worse like as you age, but like it was so bad when I was 16. Like people would walk in the room and complain about my smell. Like it was really bad.
Mm.
But now it isn't as much. And I don't know why. I mean, it's just so unpredictable, this whole thing.
Mm. I think I already asked you this, but maybe was there something you were doing at the age of 16 that you're probably not doing at this moment? Like maybe you were smoking more or drinking more or something like that?
No, I wasn't smoking, I wasn't drinking. I did have a horrible diet. And I feel like when I cleaned up my diet and I got all of that out of my system and out of my bloodstream, all that junk that I was used to eating, that it lessened it, but it's still there and it gets worse depending on what I eat. So,
Hmm.
but diet definitely plays a huge role.
Yeah. So I did want to ask you, since you were talking about school a little bit, what are you getting into? What are you studying?
I'm studying legal studies
Mm.
and I want to go to law school afterwards. but we'll see how that goes.
Oh, so you want to be like an attorney?
I do. I do. I've been wanting to do this since I was young.
Mm.
So I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
So what do you mean you don't feel like you don't feel like you could possibly make it, or you feel like it's going to be too difficult?
Well, um, I'm just so over school right now. Like, I'm about to graduate, and I feel like these last few classes and semesters are just like, it's just like pushing me to my limit, especially when you're working full time and you have to pay for your own school and
Yeah.
you're living by yourself, you gotta pay your own rent. I mean, like, that takes an emotional toll on you. So I just need to relax, like, for at least like half a year or a year, and then like jump back into it. But I just need to take care of my mental right now because it gets difficult.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And I know like going into like law school is probably really hard doing like all that stuff. I know you have to do a lot of research and reading and make. I would assume you have to do like a lot of reports and stuff.
To be honest, I'm doing all of that now. So I feel like when I get to that level, I've already been prepared for it since my undergrad is in legal studies. So we're getting exposed to a lot of the things that we're going to see when we get to law school. So I'm not concerned about my performance in like in my classes. I'm more so concerned about like the communication aspect and like communicating with people and going out to do things. Cause like I'm good when it comes to work. Like I know how to prioritize my work. It's just like that communication aspect that I can't master right now.
Mm. I do got a question from chat from Caramel Gazelle,
Hmm.
and I guess it's a question. It's like candida, sugar, processed foods, pesticides, and carbs. Do they make it worse?
Yeah, it does.
Pesticides and carbs. Pesticides.
Carbs, yeah, it does. But sugar is number one. I'm not
Mm.
sure pesticides. Like, is that like what they put on fruit?
Food, yeah, to prevent any type of bugs to eat the food. Yeah,
I'm not sure about that because I don't even know if I'm eating pesticides or what's on. It's hard to tell because
yeah,
you just don't know
definitely,
where your food is coming from.
exactly. Um, but yeah, man, you're trying to pursue becoming an attorney. That's pretty cool. Um, I do want to ask you this. I don't know if that's this. I don't know how people are gonna take it, but like, what do you like have a backup plan if it doesn't work out?
Um, if school doesn't work out, I mean, I'm gonna look for something else to do. Like, I've always been the type to like look for the next thing. Like even now, like I'm in a good job and I'm about to finish school. But even now, I'm trying to tweak up my resume to make sure that everything is good, just in case something does happen. Like I'm always thinking about the next move. So like if if it doesn't work out, then I'm sure that I'm gonna make it work some other way.
Mm. Because I know, like, with people I've, well, with one of the people I've interviewed, her name was Carol. She said, like,
I saw that
she,
one.
yeah, she had, like, some people, like, try to fire her. I mean, didn't try to
I
fire her, they
know, and
fired her.
that's devastating. You know what's crazy? There's someone that works at my job, and he's in a really high position at the company, and his breath is on a like it's on 10, and
Really?
he's in a great position. He's talkative. He talks to everyone. He's very sociable. He has a great personality, and he's still there. He's still working. So I feel like it's just different for everyone. Like, I don't know.
Hmm. So, but is it just because, like, how many times have you met up with the person? And was it always bad? Like, every
Yeah,
time you
it's
met up
always
with,
bad. Like, even when I just walk by this person, I can
wow.
smell it. Yeah.
You said it was a
And I
10?
thought it
Like,
was me. Like, I thought that was me. Like, at a, like, when I first met this person, I'm like, wow, like, I can really smell myself, like, talking to somebody. That's crazy. But then, like, the more you walk by them, the more you talk to them, the more you visit their office, then I realized, okay, that's not me. Like,
Hmm. That's interesting. Have you ever tried to discuss with him any bad breath tips that
No, I
he
would
could share?
never. No, I wouldn't, because I don't know how they're gonna take it. And on top of that, like, they're in a position where they can just, um, they can fire me if they wanted to. So like, I'm not gonna risk that. No.
Have you ever talked to him and has he ever reacted to you?
No, he never reacted to me. And I have talked to him. He's a really nice guy, but I just brought this up to say that, like, people still have jobs with this, and it's sad to hear that she lost hers. Like, um I would be devastated.
Yeah. Yeah, because it is very stressful for a lot of people who have had this condition, whether it be bad breath or
Yeah.
body odor. You know, there is job discrimination for a lot of people who have it really bad and they can't have they don't have it under control or whatever, or they are trying everything, but for some reason their odor is more severe. So even if they try to do diet or do certain products, it might lessen it, but it's still bad. And
Yeah.
that in itself, coworkers try to eliminate you on some bullshit.
And I feel
Um,
like it's the worst when you're just realizing the problem because you don't know what's going on, you don't know what it's related to. All you know is that you're going through it. And that's I feel like is the most difficult stage. But once you learn your body and how to manage yourself, it does get better.
I do got some couple questions from the chat here.
Hmm.
One is from Caramel Gazelle, and she asks you, "Do you feel like your body isn't flowing correctly, like organs and lymph systems are sluggish?"
Um, when I was younger, I really did have like a an enlarged gland in my neck, and it was to the point where it'll bulge out whenever I like bent my head down. And I went to the doctor about it. He said it was nothing, and it went down within 2 weeks. But like, I don't know what that was about.
Hmm.
Um, I do experience anxiety. Like, even before this, like, I experienced anxiety because like, I used to live with my sisters, and a lot of things happened. And at that time, I became like the only child living with my mom, and that really like affected me. And I spent a lot of time by myself overthinking things, and that was during the time where this this started to happen. Like, I had a lot of anxiety,
Hmm.
so I don't know how related that is, or if like I have a imbalance in that way, but I don't know.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I got another question from Harmony Readings, and she asks, "Do her neighbors complain about your odor?"
No, I don't know. No. My roommate doesn't either. She doesn't complain, but I don't know. I can smell it, so it bothers me the most. It really bothers me to the point where like I feel like um it drives me crazy. Like when I walk out of a building, I can smell it, or if I have that taste in my mouth, it drives me crazy the most. I hate
Mm.
having like that nasty taste in my mouth. I just hate it.
Mm. But what you said is like most people don't react to you
Because I
because
have gum all the time and I know how to like to disguise it. So
mm. Well, I know. Oh, yeah. Okay. Another question is from Kimber Gazelle. Thyroid issues, it can cause anxiety. I guess it's not really a question. I guess she's asking, do you have thyroid issues?
I don't think so. I saw something online where someone took kelp and it helped with their body odor. I tried that and it just made it worse. So I don't even know if it's related to the thyroid. I know if you take kelp, it helps with overactive thyroid or underactive thyroid. I'm not sure which one, but I took that and it didn't help me. So, and like if you have issues with your thyroid, I would think that you would gain weight or lose weight dramatically. So
Right.
I'm not sure if it's related to that.
Well, Tabitha, you are 24 years old.
Yes.
I like to ask people, like, in the future, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I know you were talking a little bit about school, and you said you were going to take a break from school, but you still want to pursue being an attorney.
Hmm.
So I guess at the age of 29, where do you see yourself in a positive aspect, but what do you feel if things don't go well? Where would you see yourself doing if I guess, for example, the attorney thing doesn't work out?
Um, I don't know, mate. I don't know. Probably not being an attorney, but working in a field related to my studies. I don't think that like even if it is bad or if it does get bad, I don't know. I'm gonna look for something else. Like I probably don't have an idea now because like I'm just starting off in my career, but maybe later down the line I'll bump into something that might change. I don't know. It's hard to plan things out because I don't even know where I'm going to be next week. So, I
Oh,
don't know.
really? Why you say that?
Because life is unpredictable like that. Like I'm currently looking for another position because I'm trying to move up. So I don't know what's going to change next week. So
Yeah.
and like school, like I don't know what's going to happen with school. Like if I'm going to pass or fail my test, like I mean, I don't know. I just got to live positively on a regular basis. I feel like that's what helps me the most when I think positively about everything instead of letting all of the negative break me down. So,
Mm. Well, I think we're winding down here. So if anybody in the chat has any final questions that they want to ask Tabitha, right now is the time to ask her. I only have like a couple of questions left with you for you. I forgot one of them, so let's just skip that one. Uh, but I did want to ask you, like, if there are people out there who have has a similar condition like you, what you said they experienced to a T. What are the final thoughts or advice you would give to them about, I don't know, this odor? Any type of thoughts or insights can you give to that person?
um, I would say that it does get better. Like in the beginning, it's the hardest because you're going through something new and your body's going through something unfamiliar. So after you get over that initial phase, it does get better. And I wouldn't let what people say get to you because people are going to talk about you, whether you're doing good or bad. And don't don't think that you can't do anything because of this. Like don't let this limit you because there's so many other things we can do. And there's people going through way worse things and they probably have the same thoughts we do. So just take it day by day and try to stay positive.
I did remember what I want to ask you. Um, So I know I had a conversation with Ant, and he said that coconut oil helped him. Have you ever tried putting coconut oil in your mouth and swishing it? And has that been effective for you?
Yeah, I did watch that video. I haven't tried coconut oil. Not yet, because I've been trying everything else, but I'll buy that next when I decide to try more supplements.
Well, I do got a question from the chat from Harden54, and he asked you, what negativity does she experience now?
Negativity. Um, I would say being socially isolated because of it. Like, I can't talk to people that I'm with on a daily basis because I know that they are going to take offense to it, even if they smell the slightest odor, because that's where their head is at. Um, what else do I experience? Um, I feel like the worst is just the social aspect. Like, I can't really have a social life because of this. Not that I can't, it's just difficult for me to do it. So I'm currently trying to tackle that.
I did want to ask you this, like, were you all were you like an introvert or extrovert before this breath? I mean, bad breath thing happened,
Um,
or were you always just like a loner,
I've
or I
been
don't
an
want to say a loner, but an introvert?
I've been an introvert my whole life, but the difference is I actually had more friends back then. Like I've always been to myself. Like I was never a part of the big crowds. I just had like my friends. And even though I was always with like the in crowd, I would never like I don't know. I I didn't feel connected to them like that. I always felt like, I don't know, like different. So I've always been introverted. This just made it worse, I guess.
Mm,
Yeah, but I've always been introverted.
mm. Well, I don't see any more questions in the chat. I do appreciate you, Tabitha, for stopping by and sharing your story.
Thank you.
Um, this is Friday night, TMAU PATM Bad Breath interview number 11, and we are out of here.